3, 2, 1. We are here. Haven't done a podcast in like 3 weeks. It's about to be holiday time. And I've got a gang with me. A gang of artists of all things. I can't believe it. This is all about the Statement of the Arts podcast. And yes, you are welcome, Bears. We're bringing it to you today on a rainy December 17th. This is featuring Coach Garza. And I just want to get really into this. We've got questions. We've got beautiful artists here today. Coach, welcome. Welcome over here on our far side. Oh, I'll fade this thing out a little bit. We just went through extensive hair and makeup. We're feeling beautiful, and we're ready to talk. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm Coach Ryan. We've got Coach Garza.
Thank you.
On the far end here, we've got Trenell. Welcome. Next to me over here, we've got Shayla. Hey. And over to my right, your left, we've got Angelica. Thank you guys for joining me. We're talking art today. We've got Coach Garza wearing shades, looking slick. You know, Coach, I'm going to start out with just saying I'm always in the E-hallway. Is that what they call it? E-hall? E-building?
Correct.
And I'm always over there, and I'm always seeing you looking cool at the door, and I'm aware of the art, and I see the hallway just completely decorated. I see the doorway completely decorated. You guys are always prolific in your work, and I'm thinking, what on earth is going on up in there? Because these portraits and these sketches and these paintings and decorations are elaborate, and you could not convince me this is coming from students in high school. And that is the truth. So here's an introduction. I just want to get to know you a little bit, Coach Garza.
Okay.
A little bit about what makes you tick. And I've got some really cool questions as we go along, and we're going to hear from everybody here. So I'm excited. This is the Statement of the Arts. And we talked about this earlier. You guys are a quiet bunch, but your work speaks loudly. And I want to get to the bottom of what is inspiring you guys. I'm also an artist, so I'm curious. Hopefully we can rap today, and so shall we. All right, so Coach Garza, tell us a little bit about how long have you been at Somerset Academy Collegiate, and what got you started in teaching art? Did you have any mentors, anybody that was there a moment that you said, this is what I'm doing, got my direction?
Awesome. Thanks for having us first. We appreciate it. Having
Yes.
all of us art students and the teacher. Well, let me answer that question first by saying that I've always been involved with art. That means to say that since I was young, I've always been interested in. I was always that kid in elementary school that said, "Hey, let him do it. He's the one that's going to color, draw, do everything for everybody."
Oh.
And like for instance, in a group project, they would ask me to do all that kind of thing. So I've always wanted to do it. I've always spent time by myself in my room or wherever I'm at, just drawing and always being connected, or people assimilate that with me as the person who's doing the art. So I always have been involved with arts in San Antonio, and that there's a contemporary art scene in which I got involved, and I got a studio space.
Ooh, studio.
Right? And this was a while back, and I was not paying hardly anything at all, but it was a space to work in which I did some paintings. And then I started showing some work, and then I started getting more involved in the community as far as the arts go locally. And so I started doing other things. I branched out. I started writing poetry. I started writing for magazines which critique art, and I started doing some things here and in Houston and a few other places. And so I've always had some kind of connection to the arts. And fortunately, even my kids too are involved with the arts. So it's kind of in the blood, you might say. And so as far as Somerset, I've been working with the district for 15 years. I was at the other location on the south side at the city-based location.
Oh, wow.
For a period for 13 years, I would say, or 12 years, and then I've come over here to this campus, and so I've been part of the family for maybe one of the longest periods of time.
I was going to say.
I'm one of the vets here.
Wow.
But at this campus, this is just my third year.
Okay.
And I'm enjoying it here. And so my involvement has been since I was young and to this point, and it's a passion that I have to share the arts.
Yeah, clearly we can see that. I think all of us agree, right? Especially you guys. And Coach, you mentioned drawing, you mentioned poetry. Is there a particular form that you feel like you excel in, or is kind of your weapon of choice, as they say?
Great question. I do contemporary. The art that I do is more of a conceptual style of art. Now, to define that kind of art is not just painting or drawing or sculpture. It's sort of a combination in which it's also involving a thought process, which is more, by definition, it's more about the idea of the art, not so much the pictorial or the vision of the art. So when I do these sorts of things, I'll give stats and information, and I can share in detail about it, but I won't go that far. But it involves a lot of things that are statistics.
Oh, wow.
And so you'll see numbers and letters and information much more so than actual the visual elements of the paint. And the
Oh,
drawing.
wow. That is just wild. Okay, so this is like statistical sort of art.
Right, it's conceptual.
Conceptual.
That's been my inspiration. But I started out doing painting and drawing like everybody else here did. And I studied art at UTSA. That's my degree.
Okay, at UTSA. Cool. I was just there the other day for the first time. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And how many different levels of art are you teaching? What's your typical day like? Are there intermediary levels, or how does it work?
Well, there is middle school art and high school art. Now,
Okay.
I will delve into those who've been with me for a while to ask them to do things that are separate, a little more advanced. I'll ask them to do something that they choose that will work for them. But in any other case, everybody's kind of on the same level because they all start that way. So the middle school kids, for instance, are all doing the same thing, and the Art 1 students are all doing the same thing. When we get into Art 2 and 3, they start to do things a little bit different, and it's kind of more up to them to show what they want to do and based on what the previous years were learned, what they can do at that point.
So you have middle school art, high school art, and then it goes into Art 2 and 3.
That's right.
I see. So like 3 levels.
Well, Art 1, 2, and 3 are high school.
Oh, I see.
But the first level isn't necessarily ninth grade.
Okay.
So I have some 11th graders that are Art 1.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. So you start at Art 1 and work your way up generally.
That's right.
Okay. That's cool. And how about all of you, Trinell? Are you in Art 1 or where are you at in that process? There you go. Grab that mic. I'm just curious to hear where you guys are at a little bit, and we'll get around the table here.
I took Art 2, and then this year they put me in Art 2 again, but I'm supposed to be in Art 3.
Gotcha. Okay, you also have a really good broadcasting voice. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And Shayla, what about you? Which art are you in currently?
Currently, I'm in Art 2. I started last year, so.
Sounds like you guys are in more like 2.5, maybe 2.7. And Angelica, how about you?
I'm in Art 3 right now.
Art 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're about ready to break the scale over there. All right, well, that's cool. So, Coach, I wanted to ask you, lastly, just to get to know you a little bit. Was there any point when you had a mentor, a hero, a moment when you just said, "Wow, I'm watching"? Because I can recall through my own music where I saw a drummer on a videotape that just completely shaped my life and my career. I just had never seen anything like it in my life. Is there anybody that sticks out to you like that? A mentor or hero?
As a kid, we didn't have the internet, and so we relied on what's called an encyclopedia.
Oh, never heard of it.
Okay, encyclopedias are just books, right?
Oh,
They're books
okay.
of information, and the World Book Encyclopedia in particular had a lot of images or photographs of things. So you look up, if you want to look up an artist by name, or painting, or even art, you can find the information, general information. But there is one or two artists that I had seen, and I thought, what is this? This is something else. And one of them was Francis Bacon, who was a British painter from the 1950s, 40s. And when I saw what he did, it was just blew my mind. And there's also some of the Italian artists, and then it just moved. I've always been interested in the history of art as well. There was some 80s painters or neo-expressionists that did some work, such as Julian Schnabel, who's also a movie director, and I could just go down the list. But an inspiration to me wasn't just an actual artist, but it was a teacher, and which really got me into wanting to teach was my college professor. I started out at San Antonio College, and the fine art program there is outstanding. And the teacher there I had at that time, his name was Mark Pritchett. I think he's retired since, but he is the person that got me into it because he took art so serious. And these kids do not know this, but my teaching style is kind of like him. A little stern, a little pushy, a little bit, I take it serious. And the messing around, I kind of limit that a little bit. But he was the same way. If there's kids going into there at the college level that were just like, I'm just going to draw in here and blow it off, he would weed those kids out quickly.
Yep.
Now, I can't do that here, and I wouldn't do that. But at the same point, he was a person that got me into taking art, to another level for myself and as a potential teacher to do the same thing he was doing. So it was a college professor that inspired me.
Yeah, love it. You're getting me inspired. Well, let's jump right into everybody here in our concept of art. And I wanted to start off with a little vulnerability. I now would consider myself an artist and have dedicated my life to music. And it's interesting that, as I've shared earlier before our podcast, you know, my work ethic was always just impeccable. I could practice and time would just go away. And it wasn't work for me. It was never work. It was totally inspired. But honestly, getting a little bit older, I've realized I've never really asked myself, what is art? What is this thing that is so important to me? I've never even thought about it. And maybe that's kind of a gift, because when you're inspired, it's not really cerebral. You don't have to define things. You just are kind of, like I said, inspired to continue without knowing why. But if we had to ask why, I want to ask this to each one of you in kind of a dual question form. What does art mean to you guys? We're just jumping into some deep questions here. What does art mean to each and every one of you? What is your art of choice? And do you remember when you first found out, oh my gosh, this is really important to me? I want to do something with this. Trinell, what do you think about that? It's 3 in 1.
My art of choice is sketching and watercolor. I like to watercolor.
That's cool.
My first memory of doing art, and that being something I wanted to do, was when I was little. I had accidentally cut my hair, but because of that, my mom took scissors away from me. So I liked playing with dolls, and I wanted dresses. So I would get paper, and I would fold them, and I would color them with marker, and I'd make dresses for my dolls by origami of sorts. But yeah, after that, I was just really passionate about art. It was something I did a lot, and it's just something that I could always do and occupy my mind with.
Yeah, and you still are. That's terrific. Shayla, what about you? What's art mean in your own words? What's your art of choice? And do you remember kind of when you got started and you said, wow, I can do this? Not only can I do this, like, I think it's got me.
Well, art to me is a way I can, like, express my feelings or my thoughts or just who I am in general. And my art of choice is probably sketching with, like, graphite pencils.
Yes. Is that some of the stuff that's in the hallway right now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. You got to show me which one's y'all's.
And I just like to use the value and, like, blend it out, the dark and the light. I love shading with them. And I mean, well, my mom told me that I've been drawing as long as I could hold a pencil, honestly. But my early memories of drawing is I used to love drawing dinosaurs. So I would constantly have books open about them, and I'd be drawing all the ones I could find, writing their names, just everything. So that really kept me going for a long time. I had countless sketchbooks filled with just dinosaur drawings.
Oh,
So.
wow. Cool. Very, very cool. Angelica, what's your concept for art? You're in Art 3. You've been through this now for a few years. What's your art of choice? What's your concept these days?
I'd say my favorite type of art to, like, draw would probably be, like, realism.
Oh, wow. In terms of what, for those that don't know, what is realism? Is it, these are literal, like making a tree look like a tree?
Yeah. So, like, just make it look like real life, like not like animated or anything, just straight up like as if it, like a photograph.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And what's your concept of art? When did you find out, wow, this is really meaningful to me? And have you thought about that? Can you put that into words somehow?
Maybe, I don't know how long, but I remember always drawing like horses and stuff when I was a kid. And then I took like a long pause, and then I think it was like in high school, maybe with you or the teacher before freshman year maybe, I started to draw again because of art class, and I just really liked it. And I started drawing realism, like hands and stuff, and I thought it turned out pretty good. So I just stayed in the classes and just, yeah.
That's awesome. And you've been just keeping at it, right?
Yeah.
Do you think I could be a hand model? No, that's a different matter. Never mind. Well, Coach, back to you. I just wanted to ask you, as far as, speaking of our concept, as far as being inspired and create this elusive thing that's called creativity, Coach, what are some ways that you could tell us other teachers, other coaches here at the school that may be listening to this, how do you find ways to inspire your students and create an atmosphere of creativity in in an academic environment?
That's another good question. It does take it takes a two-person effort when it comes to that. I must say, is that as a teacher, there are certain things I can go and lead them up to, but at some point in time, there is some that have to take some sort of an interest in it, in which most kids do naturally, as a matter of fact, especially at a young age, is there's a natural interest in art. But to inspire them, it's really kind of working off what they're doing and moving from that point.
Oh, wow.
So
I need to hear that. That's good.
So, for example, Trinell, her drawings are, they're outstanding drawings, and there's nothing more that I can say about them technical wise. But we've talked about what else interests her and what else does she want to do, because art isn't, at some point in time at this level, she's kind of mastered this particular skill. And so it's kind of like, let's see what else we can do. Let's go from this point forward. And there's other things too, is that I used to always love to draw, but then I realized that there's other artists out there in the world throughout history, and even especially now contemporary artists that lead the way and inspire because of their different, especially now these days, art can be a lot of things. It's not the traditional paintings and drawings and sculpture like it used to be. It's a whole different set of rules these days. And so when I tap into their interest that perhaps might lead them in that direction, that's when I start to work the interaction and say, okay, what's your interest? Well, have you heard of this person? And perhaps you might want to go in this direction, or just kind of scout, just kind of look into these things and then see. Because when you throw these things out there, they'll find something, and they'll grab onto it, and they'll say, this is kind of something that I'm interested in. And one thing leads to another, and eventually that inspires them to do some kind of art, whether it's just what they like to do or go from there.
Yeah. And, Angelica, do you have a favorite artist right now that you're digging that's inspiring you? Just kind of the flavor of the week. Anybody come to mind besides Coach Garza?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. What about you, Trinell? Anybody inspiring you right now? Any artist where you're like, wow, I'm just digging their work?
I see artists on Instagram, and they draw characters from this cowboy game that I like, and it's really cool. And I've started using some of their tips in my drawing, like facial hair. Yeah.
Facial hair, how to draw that? Oh my gosh, that's wild. How about you, Shayla? Anybody come to mind right now that's on your playlist, so to speak?
I can honestly agree with Jenna. I see a lot of artists online, and I like to follow them and try and pick up tips or just something I like out of it. So
Yeah.
I do the same.
Yeah. Okay, so on social media, you guys pick up on different people and follow them.
Sometimes.
Well, that's cool. That says a lot for social media, I guess. I really like Salvador Dali. I like surrealism. I went to the Salvador Dali Museum in Tampa, Florida on an accident once. A friend was like, you're coming with me. And I'm like, where are we going? And next thing you know, I was just like, I still can't believe what I witnessed that day. So from a visual art perspective, I mean, some of these paintings are 30, 40 feet tall. And it's just, there's 3 or 4 different images superimposed inside the painting. It just blew my mind. Coach, let's get personal here. What do you say? Let's get deep. You want to go one level deeper?
Why not?
Okay, so we're going to get deep here, folks. Watch out. It's raining outside. We might as well get deep, right? So, okay, so this is a true story. Several students that I have had the pleasure of spending some time with, some of which may have appeared on this podcast, and not limited to that. I have been walking these hallways, hanging out with y'all now for, 5 months, something like that. And I'm a pretty social person. And I have heard time and time again that Coach Garza is much more than an art teacher, an actual work of art, in the sense that you have been a life coach, an amazing, trusted confidant who's also helping kids to be emotionally stable. You're a pillar for these students. And I have certain students who come to me and say, if it weren't for Coach Garza, I'm not sure if I would have gotten through that. How do you support? I mean, obviously it's a school, but you're obviously there for much more than just a good grade. Do you have any words about how, and I know I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question.
I think I know where you're going, though.
Yeah. Do you have some words on this? Bail me out. I need an emotional support right now.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind as you're talking about this is that I recall when I was young, very young, I grew up playing sports. And so we had coaches that were of the utmost importance and respect. And so they were kind of my guidance. And so what I'm trying to say is that with their one-to-one talking to players in situations, don't get down, I kind of, maybe it's just how I raised him. Long story short, how I was raised, because I always feel for the kids. There's been times, I'll be quite honest, and some kids have seen, well, I'll shed a tear for a particular reason.
Sure.
And they're like, where'd that come from? Because I'm a very stern person. They know me in the classroom, and my reputation is more of a strict teacher, and I that's how I am. That's just the way it is. But at the same time, I have a heart too, and there's some certain times when I feel a kid's going through something. And when you're young at heart, like I feel I truly am, I can feel for them. And I do recall certain times when they're going through things, and I went through the same things too. I was very shy in school. I didn't like to talk, but now I'm in front of everybody in the classroom. But that is, I guess, some sort of a connection I've had with students on that personal level, is that I recall myself in the same situations, and I can recall it strong enough to where I feel for them, and I feel them. And so knowing that as an adult, as an older adult, is I can sort of, I don't want to say mentor them, but just sort of listen to what they have to say and give my 2 cents worth and try to leave things in a positive direction, because ultimately that's the direction you want to head in, because there's counselors for these things, and there's limits to what I can say, but at the very least, I would try to listen to them or ask them if you're okay. Yeah. And I think that goes a long way with students. Yeah. Some kids, just asking them, how's your day? How's it going? Yep. And I truly would like to know. And sometimes I can just tell by looking at their faces. Sometimes, even today, as a matter of fact, there was a student that I asked, is everything okay? And, they looked like, how do you know? And they don't want to say anything, which I understand, but I think they got a sense that I was in tune with something going on. And maybe from experience as a teacher for all these years, you get a sense of that. But that's the sort of level that I get to with these students, which I'm very thankful that some of them feel this way, and it makes me feel good. And the recognition is beautiful. Yeah. That keeps me going. That's my token every day of keep going every day, because it gets tough. Mm-hmm. As a teacher, it gets tough. And for students, of course. But as a teacher, it can be tough because there's one of me and 30 kids. Yeah. And so every day you have to find a little nugget and run with it. And I get those every day.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You guys are so blessed and fortunate to be able to hang out with Coach Garza. Let's jump around the room really quick. Let's start with Shayla. Do you feel, what grade are you in, Shayla?
I'm a junior.
Junior. Do you feel at this time that you might have an idea of what you can take, whether it's purely artistically or matter of character, matter of mentorship, anything that you feel like you can take from studying with Coach Garza that you might take into college, might take into your career, anything about your direction or what you can use that you've gained so far? Do you plan on going to college?
I do.
Yeah? Are you going to study art?
No.
No. Been there, done that. Drop the mic. All right. Any other words about that? I'm sure you've gained so many things that will reveal themselves over time.
Well, it's more of the techniques that we use in the class.
Oh.
And the methods of drawing that I know I can use in my free time. If I want to draw in my free time, I can just remember all I've learned and all that and just use it.
Yeah, maybe you'll become like an architect or something. Who knows? It'd be pretty cool. You could buy me lunch. Trinell, what do you think? Anything that you're thinking as far as something you've learned that you can take with you beyond Somerset? Do you have a vision for that yet? And what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
Junior as well.
I think I got better at lighting since I've taken this class.
Cool. I noticed you came in and kind of rearranged our lighting here a little bit. We had some glare going on. And okay, so lighting. How do you think that could apply to something that you might do beyond school? Do you know?
Well, anytime I do draw, I'm like more mindful of where the light is coming from.
Sure. You just stay in the light. I like it. Angelica, what about you? Anything that you've learned that you think that you can take with you? Are you planning on studying art beyond high school?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't know what I'm gonna study, but I guess for art has taught me to like, you can put what you want. Like it's your sheet of paper. You put what you want.
Ooh, that's deep.
I am personal, very personal. Art is individual, and it's unique to everyone. There was a question that was posed earlier about the origins of art, I guess, and what makes it unique. And it's the way I see it is, human beings are at a certain level. They're the tops of this planet, right? We're the highest of the highest. And I think only humans, with all the creatures and life on this planet, humans are the only ones that can appreciate it in a sense and create it in a sense. Now you might have some circus animals doing paints, with the strap to their arm or something, but that's not art. Art is the only thing that separates humans from the rest of life on this planet is that we're able to understand it, comprehend it, and to create it unique to every single individual. And I do have a spiel in the beginning of the school year with my students, and it's a speech which I think makes a difference, and they've all heard it once or twice, but it has to do with, I point out every single thing that they can look at in the classroom. Maybe you guys remember. And I'll point to the curtains, the ceiling, the wall, the computers, the floor, the pencils. Everything in the classroom, in our world, our environment, is mass produced. Now, if you think about it, everything in this particular room we're sitting in is all mass produced. Right now, as we're speaking, there are factories creating paper, microphones, electronics, tablecloths, everything. But when we're in the classroom as artists, as students, we are making an individual, one of a kind in the whole world.
Wow.
Even if it's a drawing that you're learning how to do, watching a video or listening to me, it's still yours and whoever's only, and that's it. And there's only one of a kind like it.
Yeah, it's a total, absolute prototype. Yeah, wow. That is inspiring. Okay, I'm going to leave right now and go home and play some music. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. No, but that's really deep. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're about at 28 minutes. I told you guys this time goes so fast when we get a good conversation going. And this, to me, has been a wonderful conversation. I think this is a good point. I want to ask Coach Garza just a conclusionary question, if that's a word. Just to wrap up, I know that all of us we work in a team. We have a faculty, we have students, we have a whole bunch of people. This is like a community. It's like a little city here at Somerset. By the way, we're right above Bear Stadium right now in Skybox Studio. Coach, is there anybody you want to shout out that has been just integral to your success here? Maybe some unsung heroes, some family members, anybody, staff, students, anybody you just kind of want to shout out?
Well, students-wise, there are just too many. Now, first of all, the students that are with me here, I can start with them. First and foremost, you guys, y'all are chosen for a reason to be up here because I know your interest or your talents in art, both. And also, maybe Coach Garcia, who's right across from me. She's my neighbor. She was here when I first started and kind of helped me get started here at the campus. And Coach Salazar also. I always pay attention to how she's putting things together and how she works really hard to make this school more, I'm trying to find the right word to use, but put together, I guess.
Yeah.
The events and things like that. She works hard to get those things done. And to the teachers for the seniors who are going to guide them into the next level.
Right.
And so I want to give a shout out to those, but to all my students especially, and all those students know who they are. I want to really show that or tell you that I appreciate you, and our conversations and our silliness and our joking and our craziness.
Yeah. Do you guys happen to listen to any music in your classroom, or do you guys jam any?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to. Am I invited?
Every time.
Oh, there was a little pause
They
there.
may
I'm
not
gonna have to
agree with the
negotiate
music.
this.
Sometimes I'll play some things that, I'll play some 1920s album.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'll play some 70s disco. I'll play some grunge from the 90s. I'll play some 80s. So there's no, and they know.
Okay. Coach, thank you so much. We're just going to do a little outro here, wrap it up. Does anybody have anything they want to say in closing? No? Anybody have any closing statements? Well, then I will take it. We'll roll some music for you guys. 1000% applause. Thank you so much for joining me. This was pleasant, and I really appreciate it. We're going to roll the jams. Thank you. This is the Coach's Corner podcast with none other than Coach Garza. Coach Garza, thank you. Your answers are truly inspiring. I can see why your department is thriving, and I can see why your students are happy, calm, and full of expression. Stop by. What's the room? It's E Hall. What's your room number?
E111.
How appropriate. Very auspicious. E111. Stop by. See the artwork. It's always changing. You guys are always making new stuff. Thank you for joining me. Signing off. Bear Nation, make art. You are a piece of art. Thank you guys so much. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.